Hello, Cougar fans, and welcome to our term project. This is Jordan Frustacci and Marley Seat, and we are Team JAMAR. And as you can see right here, our term project was on BYU football highlights. So as you can see here, we just have a few pictures that kind of have to do with BYU football, a cool logo from BYU football, LaBelle Edwards Stadium, where the BYU football home games are played, and Kalani Sitake, our new head football coach.
Alright, so for this project we had specific requirements. Namely, we needed 16 events, and so we decided to use football games and stadiums for our points. And then we also needed to include polylines and polygons as well, which you will see later in our Tethys app. We also needed to include pop-ups for each of these events, which includes basic info, a picture, and it also includes a link to a web page. So for this project we use VirtualBox, which is a program where you can run a computer inside of a computer. So it's a little confusing. But in VirtualBox, we can create a Tethys app. We can write HTML code and make sure it works before we publish our app. So to begin, I'm going to start the Tethys app in our VirtualBox. So we're going to do /t, which opens Tethys. We're going to do Tethys docker start, which pulls all of our information in, and then Tethys manage start. And so doing all of this links our HTML code to our app. So if we copy this link and put it into here, then we go to here, we can go to apps, and you see our app right there called BYU Football Highlights. So throughout this video, we are going to walk through the Tethys app that we created, and then go behind the scenes and look at the HTML file that we used to create this app. So, opening up our app, you see our homepage, and it's very exciting. We see Loyal, Strong, and True, which is the heart of BYU and BYU football. So we see a very basic page. We're going to find highlights in this website for the last 10 seasons. Over on the side, we have 4 different pages of our website. So clicking on our help page, it tells you a little bit about this app, that we created it for a class at BYU, and it's under the direction of Dr. Dan Ames. We will later input our help file and our technical documents for this Tethys app, so all of that will be available to the user.
Thank you, Marley. And so as she talked about our home page and our help page, and so now as we can see, there's these two other web pages right here, and these kind of is where we fulfill most of the requirements for this project. And so if we open up this is kind of our open layers map, which shows the 16 different games from the last 10 years, so that it kind of represents some BYU football highlights from the last 10 years. And so each of these kind of scores with the football inside represent a point, represent where the stadium is located where the football game was played. And so if we zoom in, for example, we'll go right here to Provo. And so the game that we chose for this one was the Boise State game that was played last season. And so as you can see right here, it has the pop-up, and it shows the season, the date, the opponent, the city where it was played, and the stadium, and also the logo of the team, in this case Boise State. And as we can also see, it also has a link to a website. This is actually a link to the Wikipedia page for the 2015 Boise State football team. And so as we click on that, it opens up that. And then we can also have a pop-up. This polygon represents the city of Provo, where the game was played. And so it has the city, the state, gives the population and the area, and then kind of a picture of the stadium, just to kind of give the user an idea of what type of atmosphere is felt in that part of the country. And so similarly, if we go to over here, another game that was played was down here in Atlanta at Georgia Tech. So similarly, we can see right here that if we click on the point, we can see the season, the date, the opponent, city, stadium. Here's kind of one of their logos, and then similarly opens up a web page for them. And then going back, it also, here is the polygon for the city of Atlanta, the population, and the area of it. Also, we have polylines, which connects the different seasons. So this was in the season of 2012, and we can see that that line connects to this game over here, the Point City Bowl game against San Diego State. So each of these lines corresponds to a different season. The other website that we have right here is our game highlights website. And so as we open up, the default that it shows up is actually the BYU fight song, which is what we heard as the video started. And this over here shows the lyrics to the BYU fight song. And so as this one, as you all of the different games, starting from the earliest to the most recent, kind of like a timeline. You can click on each one, and it will show a highlight video and show some of the comments about the game. So, for example, if we go to the 2014 Texas Longhorns games, we click on the video, and it kind of shows some of the best parts of the game, some of the best plays, exciting. For example, what happened right here. And so yeah, that's what this part of the website includes. So now Marley will explain how we were able to create this website.
Alright, so initially looking at our HTML file for our homepage, you can see right here it says block app navigation items. So what this means exactly is in our website we have these 4 tabs on the side that we kind of showed you before. So this references each of the HTML pages for HTML files for each of the web pages, and so when you click on it, it brings you to that page. So here, my first app, MapQuest KML pop-up, that's the name of our KML or our HTML file for this for the game locations web page, which is the page with the map. And so we called it game locations, and so looking at our website, that's what you see on the side. Also, in our homepage, there's not very much going on there, but we have some headers, some basic information about what you'll see in our web page or on our website, and then we also have that big image of for BYU football. And so we use image source equals, and then it has the URL to that picture that we used. And that makes it show up on our homepage like that. A big chunk of our project was the map, the page with the map, which includes our points, polygons, and polylines. So first of all, in this page HTML file, we reference where our map, where we got our map from. So we get it from hideyourmap.com, and it's an open layer map. We can style this map however we want. We can make it as wide and as tall as we wish. And as you can see right here, we chose to have it take up our whole page. So here is where we import our shapefiles for this project. So here we're creating a new layer, and this one imports our polygons, this one imports our stadium points, and this one imports our polylines that connect the games for the seasons. And so that's how we get all of these points to show up in our map. The pop-up bubbles that Jordan showed you before were really fun to put in. So it uses this feature.get description, and in our KML file for our different points, lines, and polygons, it talks about, or it pulls out the descriptive information and puts it into a table. And so looking at the information for the stadium point for the Boise State Bronco game that was played here in Provo, it shows our descriptive information. So we have our opponent. Up here we have our season, our date, what city it was played in, and what stadium it was played in. And so looking over here, if we zoom into Provo and showing this pop-up once again, it shows the season, date, opponent, city, and the stadium. As Jordan had previously explained, we have the opponent football logo as well as a link to a Wikipedia page for that season's football team. So to implement those, we used the script right here. We used another image source where we implemented the URL for the picture that we wanted. We specified the height and width, and then to implement our link to the Wikipedia page, we inputted the URL right here using href, and the target equals blank means that it will open a new tab every time you click on it, so it won't change, it won't get rid of the Tethys app page. And then right here it shows what you want to display for that link. So going back to our website, you can see it says 2015 BSU football.
Okay, and so our other page was this game highlights page, and so I'll just kind of go over that quickly. So right here, the game video description page is what corresponds to that highlight video page. Similar to what Marley said, first we want to make sure that you can also access the other parts of the website. So we have these different buttons right here that will go to the other parts of the page. This just refers to the hydro map, but it's not really used in this web page, so don't really need to go over that. Right here is how we created the drop down. Here's a selector. And so selector refers to the drop down, and here's the different options that show up. So as we can see, we have Utah Utes 2006, Oregon Ducks, and Las Vegas Bowl. And right here it says on change equals set game to this dot value. So as you change it to whatever it is, it sets the game to that value. And so when it changes that, it comes down here, and we had to div an info box and a video box. As you can imagine, the video box referred to the YouTube video, and the info box referred to the box that included the game highlights, some of the comments about it. So as you can see right here, the default was the lyrics to the fight song and a YouTube video of the fight song. But for example, if you chose Utah, it came up with this info box right here and this information, and this video box with this the source code, the source URL for the embedded YouTube video. And so we did that for all 16 games, and yeah, we had just followed the same process for each one. And so as we can see on the website, as you choose a different one, it comes up with a new video. We can watch it, and it also has the details right here. So as you can see, we have our home page, our game locations page, which shows the different games on a map, the highlights, which show some of the videos, and a help page, which kind of explains some of the basics. And so to finish out this video, we just want to show a highlight from one of the best games of BYU football history.
Three-man rush. Mangum, all kinds of time. Steps into the throw, in the wind, down to the goal line, and caught! Touchdown, BYU! Mitch Matthews on the last play of the game. The ruling on.
And thank you all for watching this. We hope you enjoyed it and you were able to learn a little bit of something from it. And go Cougars!